everyone. I want to dedicate this story to Arthur C. So I guess you could say my childhood was very typical of any kid growing up in the 70s and 80s in a small rural suburban town, except for one thing. My parents were serious hippies. Now, it's not like they were calling me Moonbeam or anything. We weren't living on a commune, though there were some key parties. We did have some of those. My parents, 70s. But what I mean by them being hippies is that they were completely open about everything, about life, about love, about sex, and never more so than when my mom was visibly pregnant with my younger sister and I asked her where babies came from. Now, this is a question that gives countless parents pause, right? If it's not something about a stork, it's about mommies and daddies loving each other and making a baby. But my mom, being a hippie and a feminist, felt completely obligated to be totally honest with her daughter. She pulled out that feminist Bible, Our Bodies, Ourselves, spread pictures, diagrams of reproductive organs and procedures on the table and on the floor, and just explained things, saying things like, when a man becomes aroused, he enters his penis into a woman's vagina. Now, you would think I would be having this conversation with my mom at like maybe a normal age, right? Like 10, maybe 10? No, I was 4. And I was into it. And so, we pored over diagrams more, and then she would qualify some earlier statements saying things like, well, I guess when a penis becomes aroused, he doesn't always enter it into a woman's vagina, but let's save that story till you're older, okay? My mom told me that I marched straight up into my room after this talk, and I locked myself into a creative bubble, taking to marker and construction paper to process. And when I emerged, I presented what is now known in my family as the sex papers. And I'm going to share some of my favorites with you tonight. Yes. So they're really weird and subversive and sort of innocent, like, here are 2 naked people sitting across from each other, smiling and smoking cigarettes. The word sex at the top of the page. And obviously, like, as a 4-year-old, I kind of thought that these are her boobs. Those are her arms, those are her boobs, and they clearly belong under a woman's chin. That's where breasts belong. And I think these were inspired by all of like the 70s the soap operas in the 70s that my mom was watching in the back room. Because, like after soap stars did it, they would always be smoking in bed. Also, my parents were sort of smoking their faces off. Who's this comely lady with the strange arms and fashion sense? Who's that? I don't know where I got this. I don't remember many women wearing dresses with boob holes cut out. Some pure imagination there. And look, here's a cheerleader cheering for sex. Yay, sex! Look at this, though. She has an H in the middle. What does that stand for? Happy? Horny? Hand jobs. Give me an H. Go hand jobs. Did you like clap for hand jobs? Yeah. All right. So everybody get into it. I wonder how you feel about blowjobs, if hand jobs just get a scattering there. So basically the rest of the series sort of continued on. There was 10. I was sort of like Monet with water lilies, there was like a lot of them. And I get into some of the actual reproduction stuff. There's one of 2 people laying in a bed naked, smiling at each other. They're colored hot pink. And it says, "We are making a baby." And then there's the one afterwards where they had the baby. The baby's also hot pink, thank goodness. And the mother's like, holding the baby over her head like Simba, and there's like Elton John singing Circle of Life out there in the background. It's that easy. So, I obviously was more obsessed about the sex stuff from that talk, but I also realized that certain, like feminist things seeped in there. At the end of the series, there is a picture, and they're more like stick figures. It's a male, a female, and a baby, and it says, "You got to love yourself before you love your baby and your husband." Not your husband, your husband. So those things seeped in, right? And you'd think that I had, like, maybe getting this and, like, sort of this early entree to sex, when I was a kid, maybe you would have, had a weird relationship with it. I mean, my first time was not great. Like, I think everybody typically feels that first time is not that magical experience. I mean, because first of all, where were the smoking chairs? Where was my dress with the boob holes cut out? The important thing is that none of that weird stuff. I obviously had a very positive relationship. I mean, in all the pictures, people were smiling, nay, cheering for sex. I obviously felt it was a good thing. So obviously all that stuff stayed with me, and so did the sex papers too. Thank you.